Okay, welcome everyone to TBD&D. I don't know what it stands for. Last time, after emerging into Augo, fighting off various reanimated molten gold creatures, and then eventually following a lead that Atticus's daughter, Samantha, whom you definitely learned their relationship is not super great, but following her lead, you descended into the Undercroft area within Augo, sort of this intertwining sewage piping network underneath the already underground city. Upon reaching the end, and before that, having a close call with a strange unknown tentacle creature which with eyes was able to rescue Odie and Atticus and such. But getting to the end of this little sewer network, you encountered a number of these molten gold creatures. Now, they're easy to dispatch, and you did it quite easily, even easier than the first encounter. And after basically shutting off their power source, which you learned was 4 very, very solid and hefty and cased bricks of black salt.
I thought it was 5.
Oh, it was
6.
No, 500K a pop.
I'm pretty sure it was 5.
2.5 million.
No, yeah, you're right. It was 5.
You're correct.
My bad. I was just looking at those 4 pillars down there, and I think my brain. Yeah. Anyway, after getting the black salt bricks, which Atticus did tell you is worth a ton of money, more money than all of you have ever had combined. This is something that not just anyone could acquire, that's for sure. Eyes, you did cast Arcane Footprint, and you were able to put together that these bricks were placed by someone at least wearing Gordonsky armor that fit him quite nicely. You also found the body of an acquaintance of Samantha. This body had been pretty heavily decomposed in the very, very grimy Undercroft. But the cause of death that you guys learned was a single deep, what looked like sword stab through the chest. You can assume it's probably from that Gordonsky guard, but you haven't confirmed anything quite yet. Leaving the sewer system, the Undercroft, you had all kind of prepared yourself to face guards, thinking that maybe this was a setup by Gordonsky and Tyr ultimately to trap you and dispatch you in some way or another. So in preparation, Ersa, you used one of your planar abilities for the first time, kind of shifted your hand through realities, opening this small little portal and able to kind of put the bricks through the other side. And I believe you put it in a dark, hidden away corner by the teleportation circle.
That is correct. Which
you used to get to Augo in the first place. After that, you went back to Yimige's tavern. This small but cozy tavern. It's mostly a bar with only about 2 or 3 rooms up on the 2nd level. I skipped over the most important part. While in the Undercroft before emerging, this is why I should probably script these intros. Anyway, before leaving the Undercroft, Atticus, in an ability that I forgot he had, was able to detect an invisible creature kind of lurking in the shadows, watching you as you defeated these golden creatures. Eventually, and with some nudging, this creature revealed themselves to be Froya, or Frigg. I can't remember exactly the knowledge that each of you know, and if you know that Gwyn knows at this point, but regardless, an interrogation began of this strange individual, and you learned, and through eventually bringing her back to Yimige's tavern, You learned that she was, at least at one point, a god of a different pantheon that no longer rules in any realm, especially not this one. That is all except for one. You did learn that Tyr used to be a member of Freya's pantheon, and as her world, along with Tyr's, and you would also learn Cohen's old world, was destroyed, the three of them landed here. You don't know how they did. You didn't really ask those sorts of questions, but either way, all three of them landed in Ezerun. And Tyr, especially, is very powerful and grown to ranks here in Ezerun. Let's see, what else did you guys talk about? And please chip in if you remember anything.
Atticus talked with Saloon.
Yes, Atticus, you did speak with Saloon.
From it.
No, but you got a good hug. Good company for a minute. She did say that she's going to continue kind of searching for maybe right gods that would be in a position to aid.
And would you tell me where Bepin is?
Did you ask her?
No, I'll have to ask you again.
No. The biggest thing that came from this conversation with Saloon, though, and Atticus, I don't know if you've shared this with the others, but Atticus, you learned as she used her powers of divination to look into your future, a year ahead, 5 years ahead, 10 years. Looking across your entire life, trying to maybe find a... Did it do it again?
Apologies. Yeah, it did.
Why does it do that?
It's so weird, and it's only yours, too.
I mean, luckily it's an easy fix from my phone.
Yeah, whenever it beeps like that, it does the same thing.
I don't know. We'll edit that out. Anyway, trying to glimpse into your future and sort of pinpoint a moment in time in which some more information that you learned from Freya, when this world, Ezerun, would potentially collapse, similar to how Freya's did. That is probably the biggest thing you learned from Freya, except for you. The biggest thing you learned was that Cohen, who already shocked you, isn't even who he told you he was for the second time, and his real name, Loki, and he was once part of the pantheon that Freya used to be a part of. The other biggest thing that you learned, though, is that the Norns, after talking to Freya, the Norns died because of Gwyn, or
They're called the Norns.
Yeah.
that's what Freya referred to them
Yeah.
as. The Fates, the Sisters, whatever you want to call them. She freaked out after learning of this knowledge, and you could tell frantically her mind started to race. Anyway, you learned that the way that her world was destroyed was a fulfillment of a prophecy given by the Fates, or the Norns. And she predicts... Well, she doesn't predict. She said that... I'm losing my words, sorry, I'm getting to it. This is why I should probably script these things.
You're all good.
She said that...
She explained that before her world fell, the Norns gave a series of predictions, glimpses into the future, and they prophesied that the world would collapse when they died and when Freya's son died. Ultimately, that's how Freya's world collapsed shortly after her son's passing. But learning of this means that if that prophecy rings true, Ezerun, your world, is prophesied to collapse after the Norns or the Fates' death, which obviously happened. Anyway, Atticus, Saloon didn't find anything. She looked all the way into your future, and every single time you were living a full life, you were happy and working on relationships with your kids and with your friends, and there was no sign of the end of the world. So this means either the fates are wrong, either it means it doesn't happen for another 200 years, or something strange is going on. Knowing your guys' luck, you can probably assume that something strange is going on. Finally, and this is where we will jump into,
Why are you rolling damage? There's not going to be a fight.
Hopefully not.
After Gwyn did a little bit of convincing, and after the approval of Froya wishing to talk to Cohen appeared sitting in a chair just a couple feet in front of Froya in the middle of this inn room. Cohen started off by immediately apologizing. Now, whether it was sincere or not, Froya did not seem to care. Immediately, a sword kind of...
You're forgetting that eyes egged her on beforehand.
No, that was a joke. That was.
Roy obviously didn't think so.
A sword appearing out of her hand, seemingly from thin air, and reeling, trying to slice Cohen's head off.
Sentinel, opportunity attack. Try to stop it.
I'm going to say we are going to be in initiative right now, just because...
Just my 26, so let me do that.
Okay, you rolled a 26?
Yes.
Okay, what are you trying to do?
Wait, wouldn't you get a surprise round?
Yeah, she.
This is a surprise, but I talked to Brayden beforehand, and I'm fine with this because of the Sentinel feat.
I want to try to hit the sword, not necessarily disarming, but just reducing the impact on Cohen, reducing the damage.
Try and block it a little bit.
Something like that.
Okay, I'm going to need you... First of all, 26 is enough to intersect the sword, but I'm going to need a strength check from you, please.
Oh, okay.
Roll high.
Okay, starting off strong.
15, 8, 3, and 6. So 15. Because I also have advantage because of the barbarian danger sense, which is, oh wait, no. Oops. I'm just going to count those first two rolls anyway. That's only during raging. 15 plus, is it a saving throw or just check?
It's just a check.
Unnatural 20.
Okay. Froya, sword in one hand, grabs it with the other, swings kind of across towards Cohen's throat. You fling your axe out and kind of intersect the sword. Sparks fly off. Her strength, her power is way beyond yours.
I know.
Luckily, though,
Oh my gosh.
the blade kind of curves off of it, and you see it get stuck into the ceiling up above. Your axe, you like feel your shoulder almost give out completely. Luckily, it doesn't. As the axe flies out of your hand and hits against the wall.
Can I roll a persuasion check?
What are you gonna say?
Please, not here. My home will burn. Everyone I love will die.
Pulls the sword out.
Please.
What are you doing?
Can I roll a persuasion check after saying that?
Yeah. I know, but what did you roll? That's what I'm asking.
Oh, I'm also going to use commanding presence to add 5 to my roll as well.
Okay.
Let's get rid of that superiority die. Oh my gosh, persuasion. 22.
22. Okay.
It's 14 plus 3 plus 5.
Let me make sure I got the math right. I'm gonna roll out in front. This is a big roll. If I roll a
come on, a 22.
I know. If I roll a 12 or higher,
Fuck up 22 so
if I roll a 12 or higher, it's bad for you. That's a 7. You see,
I know my axe is lodged in the wall. I'm standing in between them. I'm like,
kind of out of breath, she pulls her sword from the ceiling,
Please.
kind of holds it up, and as you kind of begin talking and mention the burning of your home, you see she kind of droops down. She looks to Cohen, and she goes,
without even looking, can I go back and try to kick him in the nuts?
Sure.
Nice.
Well, he's sitting.
I know, kind of just skim above like the cushion of the
In the
chair,
gut or
and
something?
yeah, like
Yeah.
hit him in the gut. 18 plus 5 for 23 to
You
hit.
kick Cohen
See, we all hate him.
right in the balls.
We all hate him.
Fair.
Please, just not here.
Why would you do that?
Colin, I think you should leave. Like right now.
Ooh, wow, that
Yeah, Pops, it's time to go.
hurts. That's really bad. Froya goes, okay, you all hate him. Then let me just kill him right here now, and we won't
We
have a
don't want
problem.
that either.
Not right now.
We still need him.
Cohen,
Just
he kind of,
until we can figure things out.
Frick, she immediately, don't call me that. I'm sorry, Froya, I am sorry. I was trying to finish that before I feel deeply remorseful for my previous actions. Froya kind of you can tell she's like gripping the sword and like she needs a little. That was good, but she needs a little bit more to not.
Can I just go hug her?
Don't touch her. Don't touch her.
As you approach, she kind of gets really defensive and kind of.
Don't touch her, Atticus.
Froya, you don't remember the promise you made me?
I never said I wouldn't hurt him.
You did.
Listen,
No, I
we need as much
When you
on our side as we can while we're trying to figure things out. We can sort everything
Why do you
out.
trust him? He's not gonna help you.
I don't think any of us trust him, really, but
Freya, do you want to pass your grief on? Do you want to give it to me? 'Cause I'll let you.
Ooh, make a persuasion check. That's good.
What dice? What dice? Okay, let me see. Come on.
There you go.
19.
10 or higher. 1. Y'all are so lucky. She goes. Ideally, I would pass grief on to him. But I'm not gonna do that. I can't do that. I don't want to. You see her sword disappears up her sleeve.
right. I forget. Does our whole group know about?
She walks up to Cohen, grabs him by the balls, literally by the balls, and squeezes. And as he whimpers out, she goes, "Now you listen to me, you little rat. All right? You give me one bad look, I'm gonna mount your head on my wall and use your liver as kitty litter. You got that?" He goes, "Yeah, I got that. Loud and clear, Troy. Loud and clear." She kind of lets go. Good. I don't want to see you right now. Can you ask your pet to leave, please?
Colin?
Yeah, yep, I'm out. Disappears.
Later, asshole.
I look at Roya for a second. Is she cool?
Yeah, she's calm.
Gwen, eyes, other room, now.
What the heck? What?
Now!
What?
I would like to walk into the private sanctum.
Okay.
Okay. I'll follow.
Walk in there.
Both of you, sit down.
Attic,
Sit down.
talk nicely to me, Attic. I'll listen, just talk nice.
I did. I tried.
What did I do since the last conversation we had?
In there.
Yeah,
I thought you said you talked to her.
I did.
And she didn't listen.
I thought she did, but I was wrong.
See, I know. And I'm trying to point out sometimes we can be wrong.
I know. I know.
So please stop giving out information that can kill us. Please. I'm trying so hard to be patient.
I agree. I'm on the same page as you.
Then please show me that.
Why are you like? Okay, like this is the same foot we left off on last time we had this conversation.
You
It's been a day.
did call Cohen in.
No, that's not it. There's so many times I've asked, I don't know how many times, just be a little more careful, be a little more careful, but you keep on letting information slide that gets us in trouble. So please start talking to us beforehand. I don't, nothing, as he's kind of struggling through this, what normally kind of radiates off of him is light blue energy filled with moon-like power. That's sort of here. It's very faint, but there's this sort of olive green battling with this maroon as he's struggling to get these words out. Some of the things that you've said could have gotten us killed. Eyes was right. You need to be more careful. I'm just trying to nip this in the bud.
I know, Attic. We already had this conversation, and
But will you actually change this time?
we had this conversation yesterday. I have done nothing since that has proven that I won't. The
Well,
thing that
just
you're
this-
upset about right now is the same thing we talked about before.
But with Frigg,
You did bring Cohen here.
that's not it. That was a good call. She said she wanted to talk to him. I get
so
that.
She could kill him.
Because I was
Let me
supposed
talk.
to.
No, you two do not talk. You said that you knew she would listen to you. And she didn't. That's all I'm saying. Please be a little more careful. I still trust your skills. But what you're doing is dangerous. Eyes has been trying to get that across to you. Now I'm going to try to get that across to you.
Attic, and what I'm saying is, I get it. We had this conversation yesterday. I don't know what you want me to say right now, is what I'm trying to say. I agree.
You don't have to say anything.
So stop yelling at me.
That it's mostly taken over by that green color, the green of olives. olive branch, communication. There's a quick flare up of red. He wants to say something, but he backs off. And eyes. You have no place to criticize Gwyn from now on. What was that? This is my home. I love people here, and you taunted her, and you could have leveled my home. You call Gwyn irrational? That wasn't?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I would never really want him to do that. It was
more of a joke. We're dealing with gods. You said that yourself. You've told Gwen that exact same thing. And then you pulled this shit? What was that?
Above the table real quick, what was it exactly that you said last time to Frigg? I forgot.
She just said, fight.
Yeah. More of Lily joking. Did say it in Ice's voice.
Yeah, maybe don't encourage the gods to fight.
No, this isn't a place for you to discuss. You can do that once I'm gone.
I'm sorry.
But this is here for me to scare you as well. Have you considered, both of you fight, because both of you think you're right. Have you considered both of you might be a little wrong? Communicate, please. Both of you are driving a wedge in this party, always fighting, and the first chip just flew off. Don't follow me. I'll walk out of there.
Okay. Atticus gets up, leaves. Do you two say anything after that? Do you follow him? What do you do?
I feel like we should talk.
All right. Sure.
You say I hate you, but I don't.
I've not said that. Pretty sure I haven't out loud.
You've said it many times to my face with the group around. Like yesterday, when you were yelling at me.
Sometimes your actions make me think that.
I don't hate you.
All right.
I do get mad at you sometimes or frustrated with you, but that doesn't mean I hate you. You get me?
And why don't you listen to me?
Because I'm my own person, and you don't listen to everything I say. What I'm trying to get at, guys, is, and a lot of it, I'll be real, has to do with tone. You're a bitch to me, like, frequently. You belittle me, you talk down to me, you act like I can't do anything right, and you act like I'm gonna constantly, like, sabotage the party. And I get the fear, right? I just fucked up.
Maybe your actions have been doing that, though.
I understand, right? So I said, I get it, I understand, I just fucked up.
I think it's the lack of remorse. Isn't Cohen, like, your best friend?
What do you mean lack of remorse? You act like I don't care that this just happened.
I mean, it doesn't seem like you do. You weren't panicked, you didn't even seem that sorry to Atticus.
I am. I feel bad. I just, like, I don't know what you want me to do.
You feel bad, but do you recognize that it was your fault this happened?
Yes, that's why I feel bad. I've said multiple times
And do
I
something
fucked
to
up.
make up for it.
What?
I don't know.
I very clearly put the blame on this Frigg Cohen situation on you, not Quinn.
I thought that Frigg was on the same page as me, and I was wrong. I didn't think that I was gonna get Cohen nearly killed when I brought him here. I got that the situation was risky, but I made an assessment and I was wrong.
Things without thinking, and
maybe I do think, and maybe sometimes I'm just wrong.
maybe you should stop doing things if you think you could be wrong.
I don't know how much I can do this with you, back and forth, right? Give me a second, please. What I just expressed to you is that I feel like you belittle me and talk down to me and that you are like a bitch to me, right?
I don't understand how to get you to listen. It's like nothing I say, you won't believe any of it.
What do you mean I won't believe any of it? What do you mean? I said you're right. I just want you to like be nicer to me and not hate me, right? And you can say, oh, I don't hate you, but you treat me like shit. You don't do this to anyone else in the entire party. Odie is literally a fucking fuse waiting to go off every time he casts a spell. He could explode. Kill all of us. We don't know. But you don't yell at Odie whenever he casts spells. There's risk there, no? When Odie casts a spell. There's risk, right? There's risk when I try and talk to Frigg and I make a mistake and I assess it wrong, right? There's risk. And I acknowledge that, and I acknowledge that this was my fault and I misassessed. I agree fully.
There's just risk after risk, Gwyn.
That's kind of what we do.
But
I'm not saying that I shouldn't be more careful. I agree, right? And I will going forward. I will make sure that I let you guys know when I'm leaving, what direction I'm heading, when you can expect me back. I agree. That is a better call. I should have learned my lesson by now, right? And I apologize for not doing it this last time. And I'm sorry that I let information slip. That was my fault 100%. What I'm saying is, it doesn't matter how many times I apologize, what I do to try and change, you know, it's never enough. And all I'm saying is that if you feel like I'm not listening, maybe stop talking to me like a child. If you level with me like this, you know, just talk to me like a person.
I'm sorry, I haven't seen you change.
Well, I haven't seen you change. You can say, I haven't seen you change, but is that any excuse to not talk to me like a grown person? You say you don't know how else to get me to listen, but clearly the only way that you have talked to me has not worked, right? So when Athic's been nice to me, I'm trying to take that to heart. I'm trying to change. Even when you belittled me and been rude to me, I've tried to change. I don't shoot as quickly as I used to. And it scares me when I don't. Right? You remember those bodies in Winterhold that I shot just to make sure that they weren't gonna come out of those vats and kill us? Thought, okay, well they look dead, but they could be undead, so might as well shoot them. And that came back to bite us in the ass, right? And you got mad at me for it. And you weren't nice about it either. But I agreed. Yeah, that was a bad decision. So I'm gonna try and be a little slower to the quiver. At least when it comes to making the decision that, like, you know. But you haven't been nicer to me at all. Not once. In every serious conversation we've ever had, you've belittled me, you've been rude to me, you have never taken any notion, you've never accepted any notion that maybe you're being a little rude. And you don't treat anyone else like this. I think it's a pass this time. I think that he's too stressed out to like realize that we were talking about the same thing, and I don't hold that against him, right? Like in my brain we were having the same conversation, but like his home almost just got destroyed, so I get it. But you talk to me like that every single time.
You just scare me. Because you're like how I was
I'm like how you were.
when I was young. I was a lot like you.
Meaning,
Trusting and wanting and eager. I wanted power and experience, and I wanted to be the greatest mage who'd ever lived. And the way I knew how to do that was by learning and meeting people, making connections. I wasn't as good at it as you are, but I used to be power hungry.
you think I'm power hungry?
I still am.
I think that you like assume that I'm just like you were. Yeah, I want to get more powerful, but it's not for the sake of having power. It's so I can get the fucking Crimley. I don't care about being the best. I want to save my friends, and I want to right my wrongs, and I need power to do that right now. So...
And so did I. You're still searching for power, and
I'll give it all up as soon as I fix my wrongs.
Insight check.
Insight check.
I'm just trying to say that what I did ruined my life. I was too trusting and I was too forthright, and now I am what I am.
We are driven by very different things. You can shake your head, but we are. That's the reality of it. The only reason I ever even met you is because I was looking for Crimley.
We are driven by very similar things.
What? You say that, and I'm like, you say, I want to be the best mage in the world, or I wanted to be. And I said, I just want to find my friend. That is not the same thing. The power is but the means to the end. It is not the goal.
I know I need power now, but I have one goal, and it is to kill my father. To reach a person.
But there's a difference in what we're trying to do.
Is there?
Yes, because I'm not trying to kill Crimley. I'm trying to save him.
I'm trying to save millions.
Okay.
I'm trying to save... I'm trying to end thousands of years of suffering, Gwyn.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is that we're trying to do similar things now, right? We're seeking power so that we can save people, right?
Before, when you would hunt, did you ever want to become better at it?
I mean, sure, I wanted to become better so that I could get enough food for my village. I mean,
Well, was it your craft?
sure, it's the thing I did, but
Do you enjoy it?
I mean, sure.
What did you enjoy?
Fulfillment, knowing what I, brought sustenance to the village.
That was it? No,
I mean, the tracking was fun.
no
The
drawing, no hobbies. What did you want to become great at?
I think this is where our backgrounds differ very much. I wanted to do my part for my village and live with them and help out in whatever way I could
But that's
and
changed
have
now.
fun and
It's
go
changed
on
now,
walks.
hasn't it?
Yes.
So now you are like I was.
No. I don't want to be the best at hunting. I don't want to be the best at archery.
I know,
I just want to get Crimley back. And I want to make sure that
and I just wanted
I
to make my
didn't end the
father
world.
proud. I wasn't evil.
I'm not saying you were evil.
Just try and... I was good, but I was foolish. And I think that's why I'm hard on you. And I'm sorry that I'm saying you're foolish, but
Fuck off, Eyes. Every time we talk, you're just like me when I was younger. You're just like me when I was younger. You're like a child. You're like a child. That's all I hear. I get that you feel these things, but we are different people from different backgrounds that want, sure, similar things now. But at the end of the day, what I wanted was to be able to walk through the woods.
so did I.
What I'm saying is that after I find Crimley, and after he's safe, and after I figure out what Kron means by all this stuff that he's been saying, and after I right my wrongs, this bow will need a new champion, and I'll be off in the Feywild.
Where none of your consequences will reach you.
No.
Gwyn, don't you see the terrible things that have happened because of things that you've done?
Yes, did you not just hear the thing I said where I said after I right my wrongs?
How? How are you going to right your wrongs?
I don't know, but I won't rest until I do.
Then you won't ever rest.
Okay, then
You
so
can't.
be it. You have like such a pessimistic view on the world. You think that just because we don't know how to do something now means we'll never be able to. You think that just because you have no hope, no one else can. And that's fucked up. I get it. It's grim. We probably won't succeed, but why not try? Why can't I hope? Why can't I have something to work for in the future?
Hope is all I have. I have no other reason to keep going besides the hope that we can win. And every time you do something that dashes that hope, I have to scramble to clutch onto any pieces left. You were just... We are fighting the most powerful forces in the world, and you don't realize that you are nothing against them. I am nothing against them.
Wait, you mean that I can't fight Tyr? By myself? Really? You mean that? Me. I thought I was good enough to shoot him fast. Or like God's really powerful or something.
You just met a god, and you told her who her enemies were and that you were aligned with her enemies. I don't know what you'll do, Gwyn.
We have not made any progress on the one front that I've asked you to like.
I'm being honest.
So like, okay, what
I'm
I'm
not
getting
trying
at
to be
is
mean, I'm just...
no. What I'm getting at is is you
I
can
don't know
either
what
talk
you'll
to
do.
me, you can talk to me like a child and think that I don't understand anything you're saying and think you're just like me when I was a kid. You're just like me. You're just like me for real when I was a kid and you're just like me when I was a kid and you're gonna fuck everything up just like I did. But you don't know that. I fucked things up before, right? And I said that I know that, and I don't know how I'm gonna get out of this right now, but I'm gonna work until I figure out a way, right? So like, get off my ass. Talk to me like an adult. I'm literally older than you. And I get that like goblin age and gnome age is different, but like I'm literally older than you. I've been on Ezerun for longer than you, and like I get that there are consequences for actions. Like when I leave for an extra hunting trip, sometimes your village gets burned down when you leave, right? I get it. Sometimes when you think you can trust someone, you can't, and you might say things that you shouldn't have. I get it. All I'm asking is that you don't treat me like a child and be
I'm
like,
not trying to.
you literally are saying that I am just like you were when you were a child.
No, when
Too
I was
naive.
young. When I was young, not when I was a child.
I don't know how many more times we can have this conversation before one of us just leaves. If I have to search for this shit on my own, I'll do it. If you want me gone, tell me.
I don't want you gone.
But you do. You do.
I value your skills and your input,
But you think that I pose more of a danger than anything. So if you want me to leave, I'll leave. I'll fucking leave, and I'll find Crimley. And because Crimley's supposed to be so powerful, maybe he'll help me figure out how to solve the problem that I got this into. Me alone, it was my fault. I'm well aware, and I'm very sorry. So don't you dare tell me that I'm not sorry, that I don't feel remorse, that I don't feel like a fucking idiot. Because I do. I feel like a fucking idiot every day. I walk around thinking, no one else in the street other than the people that I'm walking with know that the world's probably gonna end because of me. And me alone. You think that I don't feel bad about that?
well then you know how I've felt for the last 8 years.
We are not the same person, please, dear God eyes. Stop saying that. You can think it all you want, but don't fucking say it to me. One more time.
Am I so terrible of a person?
No, we're just very different people.
No, we're just very similar.
You can't do or respect one wish of mine. Not one single wish. I have asked you not to say that. You immediately say it. I've asked you not to belittle me. You continuously belittle me. I ask you not to be rude to me. And you say, well, sorry, I'm not trying to be rude. And then you be rude to me. And you don't say sorry. You've not said sorry one time to me. Not once. I am leaving. I have not asked for much.
You are the only other person besides these two that have heard every single argument these two have ever had. You're in the other room. You're like 15 feet away. You
can't hear
hear
this because we're in private symptom.
Oh, you're right.
Does the telepathy carry over 60-foot radius?
It doesn't. It doesn't. But the walls are thin. I mean, you have good hearing. It blocks for the privacy. Oh, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. Once.
My question still stands. Ersa, you know eyes well enough to know what conversation is probably happening in the other room.
We can probably see it across the hall.
I'm not asking for what you're doing
You're
or anything
asking
like
me
that.
and Lily to hurry this
No,
conversation, right?
I'm asking, Ersa, what do you think? What is going through your head as you know that your friends are in the other room having a conversation that they've had a few times, or at least this presumably?
I want to know what everybody thinks.
I was trying to get you to take criticism as well, but you're not. That was my goal.
Ursa.
It's a joke from me, Julian. I didn't actually want
Some
that
other
to run.
situations, well, I just yelled at you for that one.
Ursa is a person who doesn't. Those are the end of my thoughts. Ursa's a person. Ursa's a person who doesn't tend to complicated situations are slightly lost on her, and she tends to see things in their simplest light. She's a little confused as to and she's trying to understand why the same conversation has been had over and over again. And I think that I don't know. I think she's
simplest Ursa terms, like words, like
in simplest.
It could even just be a single emotion that Ursa feels.
In simplest Ursa terms, she thinks the nightmare that Eyes lives is turning her care to not hate, but fear. She thinks she's looking in a mirror, and because of her distrust of herself, she can't see past it.
Shortly after Atticus takes Gwen, we can get back to you guys in a second. I'm just gonna get the flow going a different direction. Shortly after Atticus walks out with the two of them, he comes back in to the room.
As I leave before they all see me, I mean, for game's sake, I think I'm gonna burn a rage. As he takes a deep breath, he doesn't notice it, but the colors fade. He tries to get his hands to stop shaking. He's a little embarrassed for raising his voice because he's never done that before with these guys. He walks into the other room. I thought I told them both to try to change the conversation, that maybe they're both a little wrong and that they should have some humility and hopefully sort things out. But I'm going to go where my care and help will be more effective. So I need to go find a friend that will hopefully be a little more receptive to help. So I'm gonna get out of here.
Where are you going?
I don't know. I need to ask Saloon, but I'm going to go. Hopefully when they come out, they can both have a little bit of humility and come to a conclusion and stop fighting. So they stop fighting. So I'm gonna go.
Okay.
Anyway, I think to Saloon, where's Bevan?
As you're kind of walking out, Samantha kind of leaves the room, follows behind you. She is still here. Stepping out into the hallway with you, she kind of... Wait, where are you going?
Apparently Bevin's been having a hard time. That's one of the reasons that I came back, apart from the group's motivations. There's something wrong with Bevin. I want to go try to find him and help him.
Do you not know where he is?
Do you?
Yeah. I don't know what's going on in his personal life, but last I heard he's in Gordonsky, same house he was when you knew him.
Well,
I've
had this feeling that Bevin and I don't know. I feel like I can help Bevin and Elveron. They've gotten, I don't know what the problem is, but they're not doing good. I have that feeling, and so I'm just gonna see if I can go help.
Are you leaving this group?
I sure hope not, but they're not changing. After conversation, Eyes refuses to change, Gwen refuses to change. I thought maybe getting their attention on me instead of at each other, they would soften up and be more willing to see the flaws within themselves and come to an agreement so they don't. The harder they fight, the bigger the wall grows between them, and this was my last attempt. I'm gonna go. If they're still together afterwards, perfect, but as much as I try, I hate giving up. But I can be more effective helping others than trying to quench this blaze between them.
Okay. Are you leaving right now?
I mean, logically, I know it's a bad idea, but emotionally, I want to. So I'm just gonna walk for a little bit and see if I want to leave right now, once I cool off a little.
I can't believe I'm going to say this. I'm still mad at you.
I get it.
Seeing all this, it gives me a glimmer of hope that I haven't had in a long time, that maybe Gordonsky isn't beyond change. And you guys are idiots, but for whatever reason, I have a foolish desire to see it through. Your friends are stupid, and I don't think they would make it to Gordonsky without you, especially because most of them have no idea where they're going or haven't been here in a long time. And if I were to give my old man some advice, I would recommend sleeping on it and making a decision with them in the morning. At least writing them up a map and talking to them before you go. Because I don't want to see you jeopardize something else.
You're 100% right.
And I would like to help as well. I'm not asking for permission, I don't care what you think. But I've been thinking, and I think I'm gonna rally together some of the group that I'm with. A lot of them are stationed in Gordonsky, and maybe by the time you guys all get there, I will have some information that I can provide.
I really appreciate that. I know you're obviously not doing it for me. But I will say, on behalf of those you're doing it for, I appreciate it.
I'm gonna stay at the friend's house tonight, so you'll have the house to yourself. Take the time to figure it out, I guess.
Thank you.
See you in the morning, maybe.
See you.
She doesn't give you a hug. She kind of just acknowledges you and walks away.
I guess I head back to the house and maybe start drawing up a map.
Okay.
We see you walk back through the door, or
Well,
wait, no.
we were out in the
We were
hallway, so
outside in
you
the
two,
hallway.
you
So
three
we
probably
were-
overheard all that.
No, you were in the. Oh yeah,
They were
that's
in the
right.
hallway.
Mhm. So you three
Okay.
overheard me saying this is a last-ditch Hail Mary to try to get them to recognize that the longer they battle, the bigger the wall will become, and if it's not fixed now, my effort will be put elsewhere.
Back to you two.
Nice.
Nice.
Look, guys, I am out of energy for this discussion. The way I see it, there are 3 things that could happen, right? I leave, you leave, maybe 4 things actually. No. One of us leaves, we make up and we both admit that maybe we're both wrong about some things, or we just don't talk about this again and you don't talk to me anymore, at least about this kind of stuff, right? Like, I'm telling you right now that if you talk to me like that again, I will not be talking to you. I will just leave. I will leave the room, right? And you can try and follow me, and if that happens, then I will just leave the group. And I'm saying this not out of dismissal of what you're saying. I fully understand what you and Attic are saying, and I think that you guys are right about some things. And I'm gonna do my best to change. I mean it, right? And I'm to the point where I'm not even gonna ask you to do it, because you know what I've asked, so I'm not gonna say it again. If you do change, then great. If not, then just please don't fucking talk to me. Is that better?
That is.
Okay, goodbye. I walk out of privacy.
Wait.
What?
I don't want you to leave. Because what I didn't say earlier is I was rather fond of my younger self.
Sorry, what? Of your younger self? Eyes?
I know.
I just told you,
I know.
I appreciate the gesture, but please don't.
I'm trying to say I'm fond of you.
Okay, I get that, but please, I just don't compare me to that. That's just not how I see it. I'm not saying that you were a bad person. I just don't agree with how you've been framing things, and yeah.
Wow.
I do agree that I fucked up and that I need to change, right? I just don't agree with how you've been framing the whole thing, so.
Maybe if you got to know the old me more. We could swap stories.
What do you want to hear?
I tell you something, you tell me something.
Sure.
All right. How many salt left?
No. It's all in the bullets.
Well, I mean, we're in a tavern. Grab a couple bottles.
I'll talk with you. I don't want to drink right now. I'll get sad.
All right. I'll probably get a little happier.
I don't approve. I walk out and I come back in with a bottle of ale.
I'll pop it. Take a couple swigs.
I also leave a gold on the counter for
How much alcohol can we steal?
As you go down to the bar to get some beverages, you see Image. He goes, "Oh, finally! One of you has descended from up above. I have something for you. This is purely free of charge. Here. He brings it out. You see these finely rolled, deep fried, kind of
rollies.
They're like deep fried raviolis, basically. It's like rolled up crepe with like strawberry jam, banana, various fruits, and then it's deep fried. And then you see it has this small little like sweet sauce.
This really is America.
Next to it.
So do we have a recipe for this in real life?
And
I can probably whip some up.
he goes, here you go. I don't have a name for these yet, so think about one. They are ravioli-esque, but they are more like a cousin. Anyway, here you go.
Ravipolis.
That is good. That could work. We can run with that.
Do you bring them up with us?
Yeah, I'll
You
bring them up.
bring up the ravipolis and a couple drinks.
We just smell like the waft. They all go into the other room.
Incline and he floats in the air.
And then it disappears at the line of the sanctum.
What's that?
Image made us snacks, and then I also bought us a little bit of ale. So here you go.
All right.
I do
Take one of
head
the
back to the
snacks.
house and start working on a few things.
What? Twinkie.
I already called them ravipolis. But Twinkie
Agree to
works.
disagree.
I mean,
These are deep.
they are images, so pitch that to Image. He can decide.
All right.
Fight.
Okay,
I'll pop the ale. Oh, I already popped the ale.
pop it again.
Pop it in. Repop the ale.
Repop the ale.
It's like when you get like a really good noise and so you put it back in to try and
Play with the cork.
You are that person. Absolutely.
What do you... What?
Do you
I
want-
feel like I've been a bitch to you, so you get the first question. I have been a bitch.
It's only taken 2 years.
It's not been 2 years.
A year and a half.
Year and a half.
Don't give yourself excuses.
All right.
Here's 2 out of 2.
What? This?
What?
I thought you were good at people. Isn't like charisma your thing?
Well, yeah, when I know what I'm looking for.
Well,
Just the question.
what is...
It's like the cyberpunk meme. What?
I mean, every nasty little thought you've ever had about me, or...
I don't want to ask you like really mean, scary questions. Like, I have questions, but like also I don't want to like ask you like, what? Can you explain this traumatizing thing to me? I feel like that's just rude.
Alright, we don't have to dive deep into the psyche yet. Or anything. Do you need me to start, or?
Yeah, you ask a question.
Alright.
A year into their journey together, introduction.
Character development.
Oh, this is hard.
Y'all suck.
There's so many.
What?
We're not gonna make it through this.
The next 4 hours are just gonna be us.
Yeah.
A voice from the universe. What does your favorite day look like? Or what was your what was your
This is
best
speed dating.
day?
Come on,
Yeah.
speed dating.
What's
We learned this in mutual. Come on.
What is your favorite color?
I thought you were smart.
You get to see color through Eris's eyes as well, right?
I saw color before.
I was just wondering if like the whole Erisa thing is like monochromatic or something.
No, I'm not like a dog. I can see colors and I saw them before when I had eyes.
Well, I figured that, but like, girl,
I don't know what you're gesturing to.
She can't see right now.
I held my hair.
Alright, so pink is your favorite color.
Yeah.
Alright, fine.
Remember?
Way to go, Sherlock.
Both of you.
Goblin detective.
Look, she's not good with people.
I know.
I
It's
know,
cute.
it's
We're just being silly.
Mine is purple.
Like your magic.
Yes, exactly like my magic.
Good color.
Pretty close to pink.
Adjacent, yes. A little more blue.
Yes, that is the combination for purple. Your turn.
What is your favorite kind of animal to track? Humans. The most dangerous game.
This is the most awkward first date I've ever seen. This is like worse than like my first date I ever went on.
I've never had to track an animal. I can tell you my favorite one. Do you want that?
Sure, I can tell you if I've killed one before.
Oh, great. From the window in my bedroom, you could look out to the sea, and sometimes these great big whales would migrate around the islands, and
What is a whale?
whale.
That was so dumb.
They are really. Do you know what a dolphin is?
No.
You've never seen a dolphin?
What about an ocean land?
Have you seen the ocean before?
I've heard of it. Wait,
Your forest is situated pretty close to an
it's
ocean.
very central ocean. I never left
Okay.
before.
I was about to say.
We flew above one
It's
when
just-
we went to
it's
the
easier.
Wait, like the big sea that we flew over when we were on the
Yes,
on the ship.
That's the ocean. That is the ocean.
Okay.
Here,
It's just a giant lake then.
No, it's saltier. You can't drink it,
Well, there were like salty ponds in Half-Reach.
but they would like.
lightly
I-
salted.
The composition is different and
Okay.
the wildlife. I will minor illusion the image of a whale. It's so cool.
They have a little baby.
I
with
thought
it,
you said
too.
it was a big fish.
Well, this is as big as minor illusion can get the spells around. It's huge, and I've never seen one up close, but this is kind of what they look like.
Of course, I
from
forgot to say something.
They would jump out of the water too. Make big
Impressive.
splashes. Mhm. They are very beautiful.
My favorite animal to track was either boar or deer. but there are like these cool red deer with like these curly horns in Hastridge, and they jump a lot, but they move very quietly. And sometimes if you snuck up on one real good and you didn't need to like kill it for food, you could like jump on its back and ride it through the woods.
Did you ever do that?
Oh yeah. It's how I get farther away from home. Like if I wanted to get away for a little bit.
I would like to ride away. Though
The water part would be hard, huh?
I'd probably have to learn to swim first.
Maybe if we ever go to Hastridge, I can actually talk to animals now too. So like I could talk to a deer and see if it would give you a ride if you would like. They are bouncy though. Like they can jump like 6 feet high.
I mean, it's a little... Maybe if I were born blind it would be different, but it's very disorienting.
I am like feeling like you're... Yeah, I see. I mean... I get it.
Eyes laughs.
I'm glad you laughed. That was really unintentional, I swear to gods.
Do you have a favorite book? Can you read?
Are you illiterate?
Just no small village.
Yeah, well, we mostly write with charcoal on, like, large slabs of wood, if that makes sense. Or, like, when I say slab, they were thin, but, like, not like paper. We didn't have, like, mills or anything.
Do you tell stories?
Yeah. They're mostly bad where I come from, though. To keep the kids from wandering too far from home.
Was there a reason to? Or just...
Oh, yeah, the stories were real.
I see.
Yeah. Like, one time when I was hunting, I thought that they were fake, but there was, like, this little thing. The village elders, like the people that taught Krim, they called them Spriggans, but they could wave their hands and entangle you in roots, and if they did that, they would slowly burrow into your skin and sap the life out of your blood.
Connor's over there taking notes.
I'm just and there was a story of a little gnome girl one time who wandered from the village to chase after like a deer she saw, but then around the corner after it got dark, we found whoever told the story found her body, but she had been covered in bark, and it was so they tell that to the little ones.
Nice.
Horrifying.
Bedtime story for you.
There were also tales of like what would happen in the winter sometimes if people were to get lost and eat each other. They wouldn't ever be able to really leave. Like they couldn't go to Nern, which is where they said that we go after we die. So they would be stuck wandering the woods with frostbitten skin, and they could shoot ice out of their hands and like the shape of spikes, and if we'd have to go out and clear them out every winter or every spring, because a few people would get lost, and you don't want the ice spikes winding up through your hut, so. But Hastridge mostly is just a nice place.
Sounds terrifying.
It's very pretty and Hastridge still exists.
I mean, yes.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Hastridge is like a large plain forest.
Yeah.
Well,
And the caves, oh no, not the caves. We don't go in the caves. There was a story about an old lady who wandered into the cave, and everyone who passed by would hear screams for years to come.
What's that?
There's a specific cave. It's called Coleman Cave. Because the old lady
writing down.
I've been writing all this down.
and
I write down more things than you think.
Coleman Cave was like the only area that I've never actually like. I would go and like see if the stories were real, right? And
Oh, yes, so they did the opposite of what they were meant to do.
well, it was after I had like started hunting. I had made my first bow and like, you know, it was my job to wander at that point. But Coleman Cave, one time I heard the screams.
What did they sound like?
Have you ever heard an old woman screaming for her life?
Never have I ever.
It was so loud it like made my ears ring, and I couldn't even see the mouth of the cave, so I turned tail and ran. I did not want to be anywhere near that. But every year people would go missing, and sometimes from other villages, sometimes from Yorlander, but we never really learned why she screams, why she still screams. It's kind of a mystery.
Ice takes a big old slurp of the alcohol.
And I know it must sound scary, but all honestly, like, the patrols, well, at least Yorlander was once a really safe place. Like, we never had issues inside the area we lived at, and we kept it safe.
It would have been nice to grow up in the woods. For all I know, I was very sheltered.
Did you get to leave that man's house often? Or no?
We had grounds and a large garden. And I was allowed to walk the grounds and the garden, but I was never allowed to leave unaccompanied. Though I went to parties, functions with him. But the island I grew up on, I've never been able to explore it.
Maybe one day we can.
Perhaps. Hopefully it's less dangerous than Astridge.
It's really not that bad in Astridge.
I don't know, that sounded pretty terrible. I would not like to be eaten alive by Spriggans.
Okay, well, the Spriggans were like less common than like the lava monsters have been down here. It was like you'd only see like 2 or 3 every couple miles. Oh, I also forgot to tell you the other part of the Spriggans. In case we're there, if you ever see any bodies encased in bark, you have to burn the bark. Or else.
The Spriggans spread through that? Or?
Yeah, like they'll like after like a couple months, the arms start turning green with this glowing energy, and then they become a Spriggan. So.
Right.
Yeah. So just if you see any, there's no time for funeral. You burn. You burn. Controlled, obviously. You don't want the forest catching on fire.
Cheery. Whose turn is it? Can't even remember.
Yours. Tell me a story.
I know a lot of stories, but most of them are boring.
Like what? What do you mean boring?
From old books. Long, winding. But My favorite one was told me on the boat ride from my home to Tickvale. When I left, the waters between the islands are very dark. And strange things happen there. A friend I made on the boat told me about these women that lived in the waters.
Like water genasi?
Sort of, but not quite. They wore coats of fur, and when they wrapped their coats around them and dove into the water, they could swim like seals.
Impressive.
They were called selkies. I don't know if they were real. My friend and I spent many a night staying up.
Trying to see them?
He would try and see them. I would,
Yeah, sorry.
It's alright. It's alright.
It's hard to, because I don't know, like, when you, yeah.
He'd play tricks on me too. Throw something in the water. Said he saw one.
That is rude.
He was a rude man.
What was his name?
Abel.
Abel.
He wanted to be a pirate.
Like steal and kill, like the people that tried to attack our friends with the dresses on the boats?
No. More like a good pirate,
Oh,
if there is such a thing.
only steal from mean people.
Yes.
Okay. I can get behind that. I mean, we're kind of like that. We steal from mean people.
I'd call us pirates.
Land pirates.
And pirates, sure. But he basically taught me every swear word I know and every curse I know and every song I know. All the good ones anyways, not the stuff he wants.
I've always wanted to learn how to play music.
Really? What's your favorite instrument then?
I've heard of these ones with keys. They are strung, and they have pedals.
Pianoforte.
Sure, it's I've never seen one though. Are they large?
Very.
They seem cool from what I've heard. I've never seen one before.
Have you ever heard one? I will minor illusion the sound of a piano. Just playing a little lullaby.
Oh, that sounds atrocious. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It sounds very pretty. It's almost like bells, but like
It is like bells.
different.
It's because when you hit the keys on the pianoforte, there's a mechanism that strikes the strings that are strung up inside of it, so they ring like a bell.
If you made a bow just right, when you fire, it makes a tone. Is it like that? I mean, obviously sound different, but like same premise. The string moving makes the noise.
Sort of, but I'd say your bow is much more like a harp.
So
That's my favorite instrument.
why?
I don't know, but ever since I was little, I could play it pretty well.
Do you have one?
In the house.
You will have to play it for us.
Oh,
Do like a song with Attic.
It's been years. I don't even know if I can play with. I haven't played since I.
Do you like flutes?
I can play the flute.
They had wood flutes in Yorlander, and some of the priests could like play them, and it was like, how do you say, like a spell focus. Like they would play the flute and the magic would come from the flute, but only with specific songs. Like special songs to Yorlander, but all of the music has been lost though. It's you know when you store things, like when you store writings with like charcoal covered wood and then fire.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Do you remember any of them? I could write them down.
I do, but I do not sing. Maybe if we go back to Yorlander, I can figure out how to use one of the flutes if we ever find one. And I can play it for you.
Well, if you wanted to, you could use the harp to figure them out.
So I just put like an arrow on the string and
No, you just you pluck the string with a finger, and
Okay.
it has all of the notes on there, most of them. And if it's not on there, I can shift the pedals to him.
Okay, I can try. I'll think about the song tonight and try and get as much of it back as I can.
As your conversation eventually kind of
We finish the Twinkies.
muddles
Yeah.
out, you finish the ravipolis, and as you each leave to sleep for the night, or at least go into the other room to talk to people, because Froya is still there.
Oh yeah. I
What is?
don't know where Odie is.
How do each of you individually feel about the discussion, the conversation? As you're leaving the room, how do you feel?
She leaves a little heavy-hearted. It's really bittersweet thinking about her past, considering what happened, but she also knows that it's bittersweet for Gwen too, and there's a connection in sharing that. With like everything in her, she wishes she could show Gwen who she was when she was younger. Because she does genuinely think that if they weren't similar, they would still be good friends.
Gwen, what about you?
Gwen walks out feeling a mixture of things: surprise, tempered happiness, apprehensive hope is the best way I can phrase it. Like the feeling of like, I mean, that's better than anything we've done so far. But also Gwen, over the years, while usually being a very hopeful person, has also learned that, or has also grown to temper hope. Gwen's thought process is things could get better or they could not, and I can only do what I can do to help things along, and I need to not take things personally if it's not going like I think it will now, you know?
Stepping into the other room, everyone is still there except for Atticus and Samantha. Froya is still, she's kind of sat down. What has the conversation gone like between those that are still in the room and Froya?
I think there's probably some awkward silence.
I had an image of like someone breaking out cards and people just being like, yes, this is what we're doing now.
We're playing Uno.
Who has the cards?
Probably Sav.
Are you guys playing the Uno or tarot cards?
Image actually has cards for rent.
Oh.
How about that?
Image just like plops some down on the table and we're like, we just take the excuse to do something.
You guys are playing Uno with playing cards that are, they've seen their fair share of use, but you can tell that there's a lot of they're all right. They're fine. You two step in. Froya, you see, she gets a little frustrated with this game, and she kind of, this is the third time in a row. I don't understand this game. This. You have to get down to one card. Mm-hmm. You want less cards.
Yes.
Why would you ever want less cards?
Because that's how you win the game.
But you win the game by having 0 cards, you lose everything.
Yes.
She's reliving her She plays Uno.
I don't like this game.
Oh. We can play something else.
It's okay.
Could you have to play solitaire?
I miss my cats.
Oh, are they doing okay?
Yeah, they're fine.
Okay.
They're
Do
pretty.
they just stay with you usually?
Yeah, they're immortal beings.
Oh.
So they're fine.
Okay.
What are we doing?
I don't know.
Well, it looks like you were playing Uno.
Oh, you guys are done. How
2 hours
What are
later.
you guys doing?
Good, I think. Gwen?
I mean, fine.
Good.
Where's Attic?
He went to help some friends, I think, or
Well,
he
you
said
would
he was
have.
going back to. Did you say you were going back to the house?
Well,
Can't remember what exactly you said.
the conversation between Samantha and I, the part that's important to this is Samantha said that she was going to stay at somebody else's house, so I have the house tonight.
Okay. I think he probably went back to the house for the night. Samantha said I think that she was staying somewhere else tonight with a friend or something, so yeah, but
Means more space for us, I suppose. Froya,
Yeah.
I am sorry for bringing you here and putting you in the position that we put you in.
It's been like 1,000 years.
Doesn't matter how long it's been.
Well, what I'm saying is that I've needed to confront some feelings for a very long time, and it's still not quite gone. But after seeing him again, it's made me realize that he doesn't scare me as much anymore.
Good.
If anything, I kind of pity him. Seems to me like he's
Jackass idiot.
life has come back to bite him in the butt.
Well, I mean, with that wardrobe, it's...
You're right.
That's one of the few things that hasn't changed about him.
He was always dressing like that?
Yeah.
Oh, that poor guy. Has anyone ever told him?
I used to. That's probably why he had a grudge against me.
Oh.
You mean when I kill a woman's son because she keeps telling me my fits are bad?
Not on purpose,
But nevertheless, we understand if you don't want to see us again.
No, I've been living... Well, I haven't even really been living, you know, for a long time. And, I would like to do something at all. So, I still don't feel confident. I don't want to see Tyr. But, I've been thinking, and maybe I could rekindle a relationship with the Valkyries, the giants, maybe see if they could help in any way. But, yeah, anyway, I should probably go.
We could maybe point you in a direction if you're looking for the Valkyries.
Oh, I can find them.
Oh.
I know they exist. So I can find them.
Freak. I'm trying to choose my words carefully here. Please don't do that again.
Yeah. Sorry. I didn't plan on that. I just kind of saw him and all the feelings kind of came back, and luckily I got talked out of it though. 'Cause it's not good when two gods fight.
No, yeah. Also, don't lie to me again. I know that it's, like, not really something that I have control over or anything, but, like, it's just rude. I thought we were going our separate ways, so...
I thought so too. At the time, it wasn't a lie. Technically.
Well, you might have not intended on lying at the time, but it became a lie when you followed us. Remember?
Yeah.
So it's still a lie.
I know. It's good to meet you.
Yes, well,
Sorry for scaring you and revealing something that you probably, I don't know.
if you didn't, he never would have.
probably is much less of an ass than his father.
I like to think so. I don't know if I'm always right, but
Oh, from what I can tell. Yeah.
It makes so much sense where you get the lying about your name from, though, now. Like, it makes so much more sense.
you know,
You're kind of right.
Yeah.
I mean, because he never did that in front of me, so I guess it's kind of just like a
Maybe lying about your name is a genetic
subconscious
thing.
maybe.
How do you know what genetics are?
Like, when we were in Winterspire, I saw some, like, books on it.
Some light reading.
Some light genetics.
Odie, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you this because I don't think your dad has, nor do I trust him to be responsible enough to do so.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've put this together, but you're the offspring of a god,
Awesome.
which that means you yourself are one
Awesome.
in a way.
I love hearing this.
How many
out
of
loud.
that? How many is that? One.
Oh.
It's more complicated than that.
So we
but
get like half points for these two. We get like half points.
Half points? Or
So
half points?
together-
So together
we're
they
a
make
whole-
one.
I'm not, it's not the same.
It's more like a half and a quarter.
Mm.
Three
Archfey got not the same.
3/4. No, they.
You're 1/4 and you're 3/4, so together you're
I
one.
don't think.
Yeah.
Well, but like
Alright.
you got half god, half goat. I didn't
half
get
and a
half god or
half-
anything like that.
Alright, but
Or
you're
quarter.
immortal
No.
question mark.
I don't
and
like the
you're
idea that I'm
immortal question
Cohen's
mark.
kid.
Yep.
What
You
I
can still be made into
I want to
One,
I want
two.
to clarify.
We're gonna count you as one together
Great.
collectively.
Mm.
Awesome. I would love
However
to
the
hear what
math-
she's trying to say.
Alright, yes, sorry. I will count silently.
Being a god, it's complicated, and I don't know how the pantheon and deities in this world work, but you're an offspring of one that I'm familiar with, so I feel confident in saying this. Being a god is a choice that you make.
Okay.
Most gods are born into it, and I mean, why wouldn't you want to be a god, right?
It's tough to be.
Very few have ever denied the calling. And it's an internal struggle, but all I'm saying is there may come a point where you need to make a decision. These outbursts of magic, they're a symptom of an in-between state.
All right.
Godhood tries to seep out, tries to make itself known, and then other times mortality does. If you choose to be a god, though, that's something you can never turn back on.
And does that go the same way for?
Yeah.
All right. When would that decision need to be made by? Because I'm kind of bad with
Do you have a deadline?
dates.
It can be made at any point, but I will say the longer you're conflicted with this, the more unstable this magic will become.
All right. Okay. Awesome.
Anyway, do you have any other questions from me?
I have a lot, not sure you want to stay to answer all of them, but
Maybe pick like the biggest one. Because if
Top three.
if I'm gonna talk to the Valkyries, I'll probably be gone for a while.
yeah, that's fair. Well, if it was a choice that had to be made, do you regret it?
I don't know. Because on one hand, you're able to do so much good. You can do so much to better people's lives. But on the other, you don't die. At least not naturally. So, can you trust yourself to make those good decisions for eternity? And is immortality something that even is good?
How did you become a god?
I wasn't. Well, it's complicated. I was a chosen protector, I guess you can say, of my people. And me and my brother, actually, who is dead, we were kind of elevated together, I guess you can say. And, my original pantheon of gods or type of gods is actually different, or it was at one point different than Tyr and Loki's. But I married into to their side of the family, I guess you can say.
So are you like my aunt?
No, I'm not blood related
okay.
at all to...
Okay, so it's not like a whole family situation?
Well, actually, technically, Loki is the adopted son to my previous husband. So in a way, grandma. In a way, I'm your grandma.
Okay. Awesome. Well, good to meet you, I suppose.
We look nothing alike.
No, we don't.
It's okay.
You're literally a goat. Like a goat person, but like...
Okay. I don't really see what that has to do with any of this, but...
Well, no, it's just corroborating what Freya said, because you don't look... Yeah.
Would you step into the private sanctum with us?
With all of you?
All of us?
Sure, that is no different than standing here, but it's just 15 feet in that direction.
Yes, and it's also in a spot where it won't be hard or anything
Okay,
like that.
yeah.
Wouldn't hurt.
What do you need?
You knew Tyr before. Now, to make it up to us for breaking Gwyn's trust and following us without us knowing. Do you know if Tyr has any weaknesses? Anything we can use? And I ask this not just purely for malice. He has a dear friend of ours captured.
I've never seen anything physically, I've never actually seen it happen. But the Norns, they gave predictions for every god, many of which were so vague, only in retrospect do you know what it meant. It always said that, basically said, to translate it, Tyr would die a death face down in the mud. I don't know what that means. I've had a lot of time to stew on this. The Norns said that I would die a death of my choosing. Whether it is a physical, like he will actually have his face in the mud when he dies, or if it's a metaphor, I don't know.
Thank you.
I will say one thing that is consistent for most gods, even for myself at a lot of points. We always think that we are the protagonist in our own little story, right? And that can be blinding. When you think that everyone is making decisions because of you. Everything leads to you. That you are the most important thing in the entire world. So I'd find a way to exploit that.
Things are making sense when you say that.
Leverage is hubris.
Yeah.
I do have one more question, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I'm really curious. In your realm, did you have planeswalkers, people who... portals,
Some of those runes, I recognize the language, but others I do not. I've seen some of the ones I don't recognize before, from here, for example, but I've met a few like you before. Before all of this, we called them realm shifters. Planeswalkers, you call them here. They were always a mystery, even to the gods. Odin, my husband at one point, he wanted to know what knowledge they had, because they were one of the few things that he did not understand, and so he tried to bargain with them, tried to capture them. Nothing worked, until finally he befriended one, manipulated one, as he always did.
What was their name?
Odin never told me. I never met him. The only reason I know about this is because at the end of their friendship, wherever this realm shifter went, or if Odin killed him, I found Odin. He was hanging by the neck from a tree, dangling there, pale skin, his eyes were bulged, and he was missing an eye. Much like your friend, the opposite eye, but he was missing an eye. After that, when I saved him, he said that this realm shifter knew so much. Said that he knew of places far more beautiful than our realms, than the known realms. And after that, he was a different person. He was more cruel. Like he saw something that scared him. He was scared. I asked him why he was hanging, why he was missing an eye. And he always just told me that it was to reach a pure knowledge. That was it. A pure knowledge. A complete knowledge. I don't know how those two are related, but after that day, I grew to resent him even more than I already did. It's a good thing he's dead.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions from old God? Another one that you've met in the same week?
Sure, I'll think of some later.
I'm sure one of you can message me magically. It's not that hard. In the morning, I'm gonna leave, so this is probably the last you'll see of me for the foreseeable future. At least until I have an update.
Thank you, Freya.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Your debt to us is repaid.
Yeah. Before I go, I have a gift. I guess you can call it. You see, she kind of pulls out from her pocket this small kind of crystalline gem. It's jagged and sharp, like it was chipped off of something much larger. She kind of holds it out. It's smaller than her palm, very small. It kind of refracts the light and shoots off a multicolored spectrum across the wall. This is one of the few things I have from my homeland. This is one of the few things that Tyr won't be able to see. When you go under his eye to Gordonsky, I'm sure you'll find the time to use this. How do I explain it? It'll make you invisible. Not just to physical eyes, but to everything. It'll be as if you are shifting in between realms. But you won't be in a realm either. It's more complicated than that. You'll be in the small seam between planes, as you call them.
Like Ursa?
Can you replicate this?
Ursa will go ethereal for a second and come back.
Oh, I could still see you. This is different. You went to a plane that our eyes cannot see, but it was still a plane. It was still adjacent. This takes you to an empty space.
I'd let you sit in between.
Yeah.
Like the sword, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Like where
Atticus
the
said,
metal for your sword was made.
Atticus said the metal came from between planes, correct?
She kind of looks at the sword. Much like that. Where did you get that?
A planeswalker.
Someone that probably would have had access to one of these at some point. The metal that's made from. It's made from. Well, it's the same metal that went into the hammer I spoke of.
Smallheim steel.
Yeah.
Smallheim steel.
She'll place it kind of at the center of each of you. Only one person can use it at a time. It is too small of a chunk to spread its radius, but when you're in this state, you will not produce any sound, any shadows, nothing. You will be completely invisible. Not even magic can detect you. At least none that I know of. None from my realm, none that Tyr would know. It's very potent, but you can get lost. Not easily, but just stay focused when you're using it, all right?
We will heed that.
Yes. You will be able to see this still if you focus on it, but if you lose sight of that, you will wander and it will be near impossible to get you back, so please just be careful.
Understood.
All right, it was good to talk to people in general. I don't really do that, so building some confidence once. What?
Twinkie.
Is
We ate them all.
Maybe he made some more. Maybe he's been making.
I'm not hungry. It's okay.
Well,
Maybe
it's not even just for
one
hunger.
seed.
It's for like taste. You know.
I don't really get joy from eating food.
Eating like really good food. Are you sure anymore? How long has it been?
That's something we'll need to take into account.
What is?
Is that a god thing?
No.
Carthract seemed like food.
No, a lot of.
True. That's
Love
true.
food.
I mean, you've seen Tyr nowadays. It's just a
Image.
personal thing. I just.
Image. Do you have more?
Do you just call downstairs?
Image.
We're in private sanctum.
Oh, I'll walk out. Image.
Yimage is eager. He runs up the stairs holding a tray.
Right.
I knew. I had the feeling that your bellies would be growling very soon, so I had prepared these very carefully just for you.
Thank you. Have you thought about calling them Twinkies? I don't know why, but
That is a
feels.
stupid name.
Oh, all right, fine then. And
They are ravi. They are
Ravi
ravipolis.
boys is better.
Yes, it is like a brand.
All right.
Ravioli, ravipoli, ravizzoli,
Great. I just don't think this should be named.
ravicoli.
I just don't think this should be named after
Endless. There are endless
E. coli.
possibilities.
But won't people get them confused? Like once you make too many of them?
Dwarves have a good memory.
All right.
We are like elephants. Do you know what an elephant is?
What's an
Ursa brings out the elephant.
I do know what an elephant is.
Gordansky used to use war elephants before they tamed the dragons.
Wonderful. That is so
Yes,
awesome.
but people say that elephants, they are very intelligent creatures, much like dwarves.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
And they are strong
Thank you,
and
Image.
sturdy
Thank you,
and
Image.
short little
All
legs.
right. But they don't have long noses, do they? You
No,
don't have,
we don't.
You don't have trunks. Maybe grow one, and I can compare you to.
Oh, we do have trunks, but they're not like
Oh, shite! You midge.
You are asking?
I did not need to know about your dike.
Look, you saw Atticus like you saw Atticus naked like just yesterday.
No.
He's got the smallest penis I've ever seen, but it is still larger than the average humans. I mean, he doesn't work very well either. He can't make biological children, but you know.
You know what? If you can learn how to grab something with your dike, like an elephant's trunk.
Dick.
I'm sure I could figure it out.
Just say
I'll
that,
get-
because we're gonna get flagged for.
Yeah.
Just go experiment. Oh, go away, Image. Thank you.
Okay.
Go away in his own
Thanks,
tavern.
Image.
Thank you.
Yes, I thank you. Please enjoy. And he walks down the stairs, kind of confused and sad.
What were you guys talking about?
Nothing. Elephants. Here.
I'm really,
Just try one.
I'm really good.
Just try one. He was so eager to be
I
one.
grab one and eat
I am
one.
also going to eat one.
She grabs one, takes a small little mouse bite, and kind of. It's all right. I don't know.
I'll eat it.
Yeah, I'm not one for food.
Sev looks on longingly, knowing that she will not enjoy it.
You know
She
what,
has
Sam? We'll get Image to make you
I'll
a
have
blood
another
one.
one for you.
I don't think Image would take the blood thing.
You know what?
Okay, I'm gonna go away now.
I
Bye.
thank you.
I'm tired.
Best of luck.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. He's not my dad.
Please,
I'm sorry.
please don't kill that little bastard rat of a man. As much of a bastard rat as he is
Helping us.
useful.
You know, looking at him, I feel like as much as he tricks you, I feel like he doesn't hide things very well.
He's bad at lying.
And you know, when I looked at him tonight, I kind of just saw someone that was broken.
Wow.
That is what he is, yeah. He has so many problems.
So, I don't really feel like, I feel like killing him would just be a mercy.
Well, maybe that's why we keep him around.
I'm gonna
We're all
go.
a little broken here.
Yeah, me too. I will see you guys someday, maybe.
Bang and sweet.
Hopefully,
Take it.
hopefully before it's too late.
Crossing our fingers.
She nods, steps out of the sanctum, and descends down the stairs, and you lose sight of her. Atticus, you get home. What are you doing?
Oh, processing for just a second. Try to figure out what to do next. Still feels a little embarrassed for raising his voice. So I think in classic Atticus / Dwarven style, he makes himself a good meal, some of the groceries he bought, and he starts working on some potion projects for the night before to kind of decompress, and eventually go to bed.
It's just what Brayden does.
Okay.
Yeah.
You notice the two are very similar.
It's almost like
What?
Brayden made this character.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Holy cow.
Okay. Atticus,
Oh,
in the middle of the night.
god damn it.
Oh no.
No, Red, that's not good.
I pressed the wrong button. Atticus, in the middle of the night, you feel kind of this warmth. You still feel very much asleep, but in this dreamlike stance that feels all so familiar to you, you hear Saloon's voice, and eventually her kind of gentle touch on your hand, that friendly touch. Before you open your eyes, you're kind of floating in the starlight with her, and she kind of goes, hi. Sorry, I'm not good at this.
It's okay. What's up?
I've been just thinking a little bit, which is something I should probably do more often, just sit down and think. I'm very impulsive, thinking about it, but
that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Look, I'm gonna ask you a question,
Okay.
and if it's too personal, feel free to just shut me down. Okay? I don't want to intrude.
Okay.
And I can't read minds, at least not easily. So, anyway, I don't know why I said that. Do you feel useless in your party? Just from an outside perspective, two of them are kind of like gods. One has weird bursts of very, very powerful magic. One can travel dimensions. One is a vampire slash
the greatest healers as well.
Healer. One makes bombs so potent and powerful that I'm afraid he would level the planet if he really set his mind to it.
Oh, easily. His intelligence is something else.
What I'm saying here is I'm cool and all, but you don't have powers. You can't travel dimensions.
Well, what do you mean? You gave me the power to heal people physically. You gave me the knowledge to heal people physically. You helped me in battle.
I know. But what I'm just asking is, do you feel not as important as them? You could contribute more.
I'm definitely a supporting role in all of their very important stories. I've already lived a life. Now it's time to help others complete their journeys.
How does that make you feel?
Important, because I need to protect them so they can do what they need to do.
All I wanted to say, and you can interpret this however you want, in my opinion, and I'm not just saying this because I'm biased. Well, I am, but you know what I mean. I don't know why I said that. I think you're the single most important person in the group. And let me tell you why. They all have their stuff going on, right? They're complicated and unknown things that's happening to them that they're dealing with, and it's a lot. And maybe at times you feel not in the spotlight. I mean, it's hard to when all of them have just so much going on.
Yeah.
But I think you have the most important gift, a power, more important than all of them have. more important than Odie's farts and Gwyn's butterfly bow and Ersa's sword. You have the one thing that can single-handedly help all of them, help yourself and everyone around you stay alive and have the stories told. You kind of just you bring out the best in others. And from my point of view, you may feel like a failure, but all that I've seen is, and this sounds so corny, and I promise I didn't read this in a book, but you're the glue that holds the hypothetical cookie together. Wait, that's not how it... You're the glue that holds the group together. That's what I don't know why I included a cookie. Maybe I just want one, but...
I mean, I can... As soon as this whole astral projection, whatever, and I'm back in my body, I can probably make you one if you want.
Oh, I'm for sure taking you up on that.
Okay.
But, distraction aside, you can keep them alive. Savrin can heal, right? But you can keep them wanting to live. And Savrin, she can't heal unless they want to continue living, unless they want to meet the goals that are so scary that no one wants to have to face, but you make it so that they're not as afraid. So I know you may not have some special power, and I wish I could give you one.
You do.
But I can't make you, teleport. I can make your skin sparkle like stardust, but I don't think that's something that really... You don't have some special God-given, born into talent, but you have a soul and a heart that is strong enough to keep them together, and that is tough. That's hard. I can't read minds, but I'm a good listener, and especially after tonight, I just felt like you needed to hear that, because I don't even know if your friends realize that, so they're not gonna tell you. Maybe someday they'll realize it, but if I know you, it won't matter, because you're the kind of person that doesn't need validation. You don't need thanks. It's nice sometimes, but you can see the best in others. You know what they're capable of, and you can help them bring that out. So I just want to say, don't give up on them, because they need you way more than you need them. Don't you dare cry, because if you start crying, I'm gonna start crying.
Right.
Oh gosh. Okay, sorry. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. You smell nice. Is that like a firewood smell? Smells great.
Yeah, it's like You can imagine like with like a barrel that whiskey's aged in. Then after it's retired, you burn that wood in the fire.
Oh, you tried a new soap?
For.
Trying a new soap?
I'm trying to.
Oh, hey, you'll have to make me one. If you can make one that smells.
And then I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not.
Oh yeah,
It doesn't. Down. It's like, are we just like up in the sky?
Yeah, you kind of look down and you see your asleep body.
Down there, yeah, I get.
Oh.
You could just have the one that I made, and I can just try to make it again if you want.
Sure, yeah. Yeah. A smoky scent, it's not really like a moon thing, but I'd love to give it a try, I'm open to trying that for sure.
Awesome.
So, maybe I'll like it.
Maybe.
So, who knows?
Little sample size.
Anyway,
it's time to get to work.
Yep. This was...
I appreciate
it's
it.
a good talk, buddy. Why did I say that?
I needed to hear that. Thank you.
My mom was so good at talking to people, man.
You are doing awesome.
Really?
Yes.
I'm trying.
You're doing so good. You, even without reading my mind, you knew exactly what I needed to hear, and I feel a lot better now.
Oh, well, that's... Oh gosh. I gotta go.
Okay.
Someone's praying. And she teleports away, and you fall back asleep soundly with a smile on your face. And on that, we will take a break.
Woo, okay.
If you guys want to continue playing tonight, we totally can. It's up to you.
I vote past my bedtime.
It is 10.